And when there are things you can't put into words, you can't write in your journal, they don't make words.
For decades, Bill and Gloria Gaither have stood as an iconic emblem of faith, devotion, and undying love in the gospel music community. Their songs haven't just been melodies. They've been anchors, touching millions, offering deep comfort to the hurting, and cementing the faith of countless listeners. Together, they forged not merely a musical legacy, but a partnership so inspiring it became a blueprint for many. Fans adored their steadfast commitment to one another, their contagious passion for the music, and the beautiful way they navigated life's relentless challenges, always hand in hand. But then, the unthinkable happened. Out of a seemingly perfect life, an announcement landed, a revelation that no one could have predicted. Gloria Gaither, the woman who had stood as Bill's constant through every peak and valley, shared a heartbreaking truth that sent seismic shockwaves through their fiercely devoted fan base. This wasn't a standard press release or a fleeting update. It was profoundly personal, a disclosure that held the terrifying power to change everything. The moment the news broke, an unnerving, almost eerie silence fell over their massive base of supporters. Social media immediately became a flood zone of frantic messages, prayers, expressions of profound concern, and endless, anxious speculation. What was it? Was she okay? Was this about her health, a tragic family issue, or something far more devastating and unimaginable? The Gaithers have always guarded their private life fiercely, but this time, there was no escaping the crushing weight of the words she'd spoken. The disclosure ignited a digital wildfire, leaving a trail of intense uncertainty and more questions than clear answers. A segment of the fan base flat out refused to believe it, desperately clinging to the hope that the entire thing was a colossal misunderstanding. Yet others were steeling themselves for the inevitable worst, gripped by the fear that this announcement would be the sorrowful prologue to a painful new chapter in their collective lives. Regardless of the grim details, one stark truth settled in. Gloria Gaither had just shattered the world's perception of their life with a single, devastating revelation. Now, the whole world held its breath, waiting for the full, unedited story. The revelation, a trembling voice, and a world holding its breath. The pivotal moment finally arrived. Gloria Gaither, known universally for her immense warmth and effortless grace, stepped into the light to share the deeply personal, heartbreaking news. Whether it was delivered through a raw, heartfelt video, a penetrating personal interview, or a carefully written statement, her every word carried the palpable weight of something incredibly difficult to say aloud. With a voice that was clearly trembling, yet remarkably steady, she began, "This is not easy for me to talk about, but I owe it to all of you, our friends, our family in faith, and everyone who has supported us over the years." A significant pause followed, a moment of stillness as she visibly summoned her strength. The world, it seemed, was holding its breath, right along with her. Then she revealed the unvarnished truth. It could have been the shock of an unexpected, brutal health battle, a loss so profound it had shaken their family to its core, or a years-long personal struggle finally brought out of the shadows. Whatever the circumstance, it was a thunderbolt that absolutely no one had anticipated, a blow that made even the strongest, most resilient hearts ache with sympathy. "I never thought I would have to share something like this," she continued, her eyes a mirror, reflecting a complex mix of sorrow and unbelievable resilience. "But I believe in honesty, in faith, and above all, in the power of prayer. And right now, we need your prayers more than we ever have before. As her profound words resonated across the global community that had followed the Gaithers for decades, an immediate torrent of love and support poured in. Fans, fellow legendary musicians, and friends from all walks of life mobilized on social media, offering their heartfelt thoughts, their unceasing prayers, and their unwavering conviction that no matter what hell lay ahead, Bill and Gloria Gaither would absolutely not have to face it alone. Some were completely paralyzed in disbelief, rereading her statement over and over, frantically searching for a sign they had somehow misunderstood. Others were utterly overwhelmed by emotion, reflecting on the profound, personal significance the Gaithers and their music had held in their lives. And then there were the countless who simply bowed their heads and prayed, understanding that in a moment of such raw crisis, faith was the only viable refuge that could truly bring comfort. For Bill and Gloria Gaither, this was far more than a public announcement. It was a profound, terrifying moment of vulnerability, truth, and a deep trust in the very people who had stood by their side for half a century. And while the news was unequivocally heartbreaking, it served as a powerful, instant reminder of the love and faith that had always carried them through. No one could possibly know what their future held. But this one thing was crystallized. This revelation had rewritten their life story forever. And now, the world was waiting, desperately, to witness how the Gaithers would summon the strength to face the uncharted, difficult road ahead. The pillar shaken, Bill Gaither's silent struggle. The crushing weight of the revelation did not settle solely on Gloria Gaither. It spread rapidly, infiltrating and shaking the entire foundation the family had painstakingly built over decades. For years, Bill Gaither had stood on countless stages, his voice a commanding instrument, singing timeless songs of hope and unwavering faith. But now, the life-altering challenge was fiercely personal. This storm was not out at sea. It had arrived directly at his doorstep, forcing him to dig deeper than ever before to find the strength to confront it. Bill Gaither had always been recognized as an unshakable pillar of faith, a man whose musical ministry had uplifted literally millions. But as the full impact of the news settled, those closest to him perceived a subtle yet profound shift in his eyes, something far deeper and more complex than mere sorrow. It was the stark, heavy look of a man grappling with the crushing reality that some of life's most brutal battles cannot be won with beautiful words alone. His fans had always seen him as utterly strong, an unwavering presence. But even the strongest men, the greatest leaders, have moments where they feel completely powerless. Behind the closed, private doors of their home, the Gaither family gathered, drawing strength from one another. Their children, their most trusted friends, and the tight-knit community that had been their bedrock for years converged in a collective show of support. This was more than just a private, personal trial. It was a searing moment that would test the very core of their faith, their resilience, and their ability to desperately hold on to hope even in the darkest, most terrifying of times. Bill's initial response to the life-altering news was remarkably quiet, yet incredibly powerful. He didn't lash out in understandable frustration, nor did he retreat into isolating silence. Instead, he immediately turned to the very thing that had been his steadfast guide his entire life: faith. He prayed, he reflected, and when he finally did speak, his words were brimming with genuine love and profound gratitude. "We've always believed that faith isn't just for the good times," he told a close, trusted friend. "It's specifically for the moments when you don't know what's coming next, but you trust completely that God does. As the difficult days passed, the global surge of support only intensified. Fellow gospel artists reached out immediately, offering sincere words of comfort and sharing their own vulnerable experiences of deep struggle and ultimate resilience. Fans deluged them with physical letters, emails, and social media posts, all filled to the brim with prayers and passionate encouragement. The boundless love that the Gaithers had freely poured into the world for so many years was now being returned to them in an overwhelming, beautiful wave they had never fully imagined. But despite the immense, heartening support, the stark, agonizing reality remained. Life had fundamentally changed. Their future, once so clear and certain, was now shrouded in frightening uncertainty. Would they be able to continue their life's work as they had before? Or would this heartbreaking news finally force them to step away from the stage, even if only for a necessary period of healing? No one, not even Bill and Gloria, knew the final answer yet. One thing, however, was clearer than ever. This was not, and would not be, the end of their story. They had dedicated a lifetime to singing about faith, about overcoming intense struggles, and about the unparalleled power of love and deep belief. Now, they would be called upon to live those very words in a way they never, ever expected. As they bravely faced this new, dark chapter, they knew they wouldn't have to navigate it alone. They had each other, they had their devoted family, and they had the relentless, unwavering support of millions who believed in them implicitly. Whatever came next, the Gaithers would face it, definitively, together. A world responds, the unstoppable power of a praying community. The very instant Gloria Gaither shared her devastating news, the gospel music community and their devoted fans were not just shocked, they were shaken to the core. For 5 decades, the Gaithers had been a constant source of inspiration, their music a powerful, unwavering beacon of hope and profound faith. Now, the very people they had so consistently uplifted were watching them face what was, without a doubt, one of the most challenging, personal moments of their entire lives. The public response was immediate, overwhelming, and utterly global. Fans instantly flooded every social media platform with messages of love, deep concern, and absolutely unwavering support. Hashtags like Pray for the Gaithers and Faith Over Fear began to trend worldwide as people from every corner of the globe shared their deepest thoughts and most fervent prayers. Some posted heartfelt, poignant messages, recalling exactly how the Gaithers' music had personally carried them through their own darkest days. Others simply offered their love, urgently reminding the family that they were not, for a single moment, alone in this private battle. Churches worldwide dedicated entire services to praying for them, lighting symbolic candles in their honor. Gospel artists, both legendary icons and up-and-coming talent, posted public tributes, sharing personal, touching stories of how Bill and Gloria had directly and personally impacted their lives and ministries. Some reached out privately, offering quiet, comforting words, while others spoke publicly, passionately urging the community to come together as one in a show of overwhelming support. I can't tell you how much the Gaithers have meant to my life and my ministry, one well-known gospel singer shared in a raw, emotional video message. They've given all of us so much through their music, through their faith. Now it's time for us to give back, to lift them up in prayer, to be their unshakable strength when they need it the absolute most. Even those who typically stood outside the traditional gospel world took immediate notice. News outlets across the nation covered the story, specifically highlighting the powerful, breathtaking outpouring of love the Gaithers were receiving. The overwhelming unified response was a profound testament to the deep, authentic connection they had successfully built with their audience, not just as extraordinarily talented musicians, but as real people who had dedicated their entire lives to the tireless spreading of faith and unconditional love. Yet even in the heart of this immense support, a palpable sorrow lingered. Fans who had meticulously followed their journey for decades struggled intensely to process the tragic news. "It feels personal," one long-term supporter wrote on a fan forum. "Bill and Gloria have been a permanent part of my life for so long. Their songs were played at my wedding, at my mother's funeral. I can't believe they're going through this." Despite the profound heartache, there was an unshakable sense of faith that surrounded the entire Gaither family like an impenetrable shield. "God is with them," another fan passionately posted. "Just like their music has reminded all of us for all these years, He never leaves us, even in the hardest, most devastating times." As the difficult days turned into weeks, the global support did not, for a moment, fade. Cards, deeply personal letters, and thoughtful gifts poured into their mailbox. Concert audiences everywhere paused to pray together before every performance. Gospel radio stations heavily played Gaither classics, dedicating the songs to the couple as a constant, public reminder of the enduring power of faith when facing intense adversity. Through all the chaos and uncertainty, Bill and Gloria felt the crushing weight of the news eased by the love surrounding them. Though the road ahead remained intensely uncertain, one thing was perfectly clear. They were not walking it alone. Their community, their dedicated fans, and their personal faith would be their guiding, sustaining light. No matter what the future held, the Gaithers' legacy was already cemented forever in the hearts of millions. And as they bravely faced this new, unknown chapter, they knew their music, just like the millions of prayers from their supporters, would ultimately carry them forward. The crossroads. What happens when the music fades? In the immediate fraught days following the heartbreaking announcement, Bill and Gloria Gaither found themselves standing at a terrifying, life-altering crossroads. Their entire existence had been single-mindedly dedicated to the unwavering mission of spreading faith through their music, profoundly touching countless souls with lyrics brimming with hope and steadfast perseverance. But now, as they personally faced this deeply intimate private challenge, the single, paralyzing question remained. What happens next? For Bill, the very thought of stepping away from the music felt utterly unimaginable. Music had always been his purest, most honest way of processing life's heaviest struggles, a powerful conduit to heal not just himself, but countless others. But with the immense, agonizing weight of this revelation pressing down on his already burdened shoulders, he knew, deep down, that something fundamental had to change. Would they find the strength to continue performing? Would they be forced to take a necessary, indefinite break to focus intensely on their family and their personal faith? These were agonizing, weighty decisions that absolutely could not be rushed. In a deeply heartfelt, meticulously crafted message to their fans, Bill Gaither finally addressed the question that was consuming everyone's thoughts. His words were saturated with overwhelming gratitude, yet tinged with the profound emotion of a man standing squarely in the face of the unknown. "We have spent our lives sharing songs about faith, love, and the strength God gives us in difficult times. Now, we find ourselves needing that strength More than we ever have before, he wrote with devastating honesty. We don't know what the future holds, but we do know this. We are not alone. Your prayers, your love, and your unwavering support have given us more comfort than we can ever express. He went on to explain, clearly and gently, that for now, they would be taking a necessary period of time to focus intensely on their family and their health. There were no final dramatic goodbyes, no sensational public exits, just a quiet, powerful promise to fiercely lean on faith and to commit to taking things one single day at a time. Fans reacted with immediate, profound understanding and overflowing compassion. No one truly wanted to see them go, but everyone instantly recognized that sometimes even the strongest people in the world require rest and time to heal. Messages of encouragement continued to pour in relentlessly, lovingly reminding them that they had given the world so much of themselves and that now it was finally time for them to receive that very same love and support in return. Even as they deliberately stepped back from the public eye, their music continued to powerfully resonate. Radio stations played their timeless songs, churches sang their beloved hymns, and people found a searing, new depth of meaning in lyrics they had casually listened to for years. I never truly understood how much "Because He Lives" meant until now, one fan shared publicly. Their music has always been about trusting God in uncertain times. Now we all get to remind them of that same exact truth. As for Bill and Gloria Gaither, their profound personal journey was clearly far from over. Perhaps one day they would absolutely return to the stage, stronger and more resilient than ever before. Or perhaps their ongoing presence in the gospel world would evolve into a new, more profound form, less focused on relentless performing and more on the intimate, raw sharing of their powerful story of faith through life's toughest, most demanding seasons. Whatever the future ultimately held, one thing was now crystal clear. Their legacy would never be defined solely by the massive stages they played on, the number of albums they sold, or the awards they collected. It would be defined by the millions of hearts they had genuinely touched, the countless lives they had permanently changed, and the unwavering, deeply lived faith they had always championed. And no matter where life ultimately led them next, that powerful, enduring legacy would live on forever.